So for 15 years, I'm assuming you're writing, you're sending things out. What does that look like? Are you writing steadily and serious the whole time? Are you taking breaks? What are the big milestones that get you to year 15? Here we go.
So yes, I was writing steadily. So Finding Perfect was the first book. It was the book I got my yes. But Rob, that was the fifth book I wrote. There were 4 other books in those 15 years that I was steadily working on. I would just write, and when one got rejected, I would revise it, but then I would just start another one. I just kept moving forward. There was a point, I shared this story yesterday. There was a point in time, I don't know what year, maybe year 10 or something, around that time, that I decided to take all my rejections and read them. Now, I really don't advise it. It was a very difficult.
You're just mad at yourself.
It required a significant amount of candy to get through that. But I wanted, I'm a lawyer by nature, right? So I'm analytical. I wanted to see if there was a through line. What was I doing? Like, I know I can't control the business and what other people like and their taste, but I can control. I wanted to do as much as I could that was in my control. I wanted to be the best writer I could be. And I wanted to, I'm not a person who looks at rejection like, oh, they just don't get it. Like, it's on me to be a better writer. That's on me. So how can I improve my craft? So I took all the letters, and this is going back a very long time. So, these were like actual letters that came in the mail, you send a manuscript in the mail, not via email, and you get a letter back. And so I had my stack of letters, my bowl of candy, and I went through them, and I realized that there was a through line, that there was a lot of positive feedback about my stories and about my writing. But the one thing that was that there was a continuous, that was the snag, was that I was didactic, and which I'm kind of that in real life too. So I get that. I just didn't realize it was like creeping into my work. So I took a year and a half off of submitting, and I worked with Deborah Brody, who had been an editor and was like a writing coach at the time. And I worked with her for a year and a half, not on submitting, not on making the story that I was working on, which at the time was Finding Perfect, better in terms of like plot and, chapter 1 through the end. But in terms of me being a better writer, I knew I was didactic. I could see it in my work, but I couldn't figure out how to remove that intonation from my storyline, and from the voice that of my characters. So I worked for a year and a half on that. And ultimately I got to a point that I was ready to submit again. And once I revised Finding Perfect, and at that point, I ended up getting my yes, fast forward another X amount of years. But it was, and one of my greatest compliments was when somebody had wanted to interview me about Finding Perfect, and they said, there's a lot of message in your story, which there is, like, and we're all working on something. No one is just one thing. But she said it's not preachy or didactic. Like, how did you do that? And I was like, oh my God, thank you. I'm like, years of work. So that was something, I really took a hard look inward and really wanted to see what I could do better, what was in my control. I wanted to make sure I was putting out the very best work I could be putting out, and then give that a go. And that ended up working.
What a wonderful story. Listen to me laughing. Why would you want to take in that pain? Well, of course, it is painful, but look at you not flinching, finding your fearless Fred, as it were, and getting in there
Right.
and finding the absolute reason. Because you can't learn anything if you don't go in there and you look at if you don't look through your pain, right?
Right. I mean, it's as you know, when I share this story, I don't share it with that this is easy, that I just like glided through and I didn't have a hard time. I mean, that's not true. Like there were people around me, like I say in the acknowledgments in Dear Student, who believed in me, who championed me, who helped me get through those hard spots, who, when I did take a hard look at my writing, my craft, were like, okay, yeah, so take that next level. I mean, I had support. So it is hard, but that's why the sense of community that we were talking about earlier, whether it's virtual, like during this time in particular, in the pandemic, when we're all living these remote lives, you know, anxiety has crept in. The sense of community is more important than ever. And I really believe in that. And it has proven in my life to, as I said, help me get over the finish line.